Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rob Gill with Epic Financial Strategies. And like I always say, I'm constantly hunting human excellence. And by merging ecosystems with folks like Chris Crone, folks like Sean Callaghy, I'm able to meet folks like Mr. Andy Zapata, Mr. Zone Action himself. And I am honored and privileged today to spend some time with Andy to follow his journey of success, fulfillment, financial freedom, wealth, abundance, and family. And I want to introduce Andy to everybody. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, Rob? Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you for coming. You came all the way from Florida.
Yeah, just to hang out with you.
How awesome is that?
For a few hours, man.
So listen, before we get into like deep detail, do you want to share with all the folks out there what's happening in November?
Yeah, so November 19th, 20th, and 21st, we are doing a mega event with a gala benefiting the American Foundation for the Blind, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a personal development seminar immersion attached to the gala, which is something that's new to us, but it's very powerful because our contribution and our personal development growth scaling is all in 3 days. So how do we do all that in 3 days? You guys are going to see what's going to come up.
Well, so that's amazing. So what I'm hearing is there's a 3-day immersion.
That's right.
It's about growth and contribution. The contribution part is about the American Foundation for the Blind. There will be, I'm assuming, some celebrities there as well.
That's right.
And then for the folks that are going to be there, not only for the gala experience, which will be extraordinary, there's also going to be an immersion on how to create peak performance that's predictable, measurable for any of these business owners, entrepreneurs, or professionals. Like us at Epic, we've gone from 8 to 600, 700 new sales meetings a month. We could break over 2,000 by the time we get to December. That's another story. But it's really utilizing these tools, technologies, and methodologies that you and I are both involved in,
That's right.
which is going to be present in November at this event. Is that correct?
That's 1,000%. We're going to be talking about the formula, how to scale your business, how to go from 8 to over 700 sales meetings a month, something that's unheard of. But I'm doing it. You're doing it. You know, I was a little bit over 8 when I started with Unblinded, but we're going to teach this method and how to merge ecosystems, like you say, and how to go to 800 and get your financial freedom.
Absolutely. And Andy, let me ask you a quick question. When you first started, and I thought I saw you last year in LBI.
That's right.
When you first joined Unblinded, what was your business like then and what is it now?
Oh, my God. I think I duplicated what took me 4 years to do. I duplicated last year.
Really?
In 12 months, I duplicated. I had 25 franchises. I now have 45 franchises, have 5 MRI centers.
Wow.
I have a home health agency and a DME company. And that all happened in 12 months.
And what changed? What was the thing? And I know it's a formula, I get it. But for all these folks out here, what is it?
Yeah.
What is it really that kind of helped you make that change as fast as you have?
You know, there's a term that we call partnerships. But in our language, we call it ecosystem mergers.
Absolutely.
And when I figured out how to ecosystem merge at its finest, scaling just happened.
It just showed up, right?
That's right.
Seemingly out of nowhere, but it was a formula.
That's it.
So when you talk about owning, all the different, the 25 franchises and the products, or it's not a product that you would say, but the treatments that are available for patients. How does somebody own 25 franchises and then quadrupling that in 12 months? I mean, like, what is that like from a standpoint of management, working on the business versus in the business? How do you delegate? How are you able to close leakage? Because I know for us here, the leakage as we grew is always apparent. So as you grow, you get more leakage. You close the leakage, you grow more. You close the leakage, you grow more.
That's right.
What do you do? What are some of your things that you do to stay on top of it?
The main thing that took me from 25 to 45 was creating leaders.
Okay.
So before I was a leader leading a team. Now I'm a leader creating leaders to lead leaders.
Wow.
And that's a big micro distinction that took the company to the next level.
And if you don't mind me asking, how do you create leaders to lead other leaders?
That's a good question. So you have to teach them about personal development. You got to teach them about their mindset, their spirit, their energy. What is their body? How is their body performing? And then show them their vision. Because if a leader doesn't have a vision, then he's just going like a hamster in a wheel. They don't know where they're going. Really, with why they want to work so hard, why they want to contribute, why they want to wake up and work, extra hard this week, or be creative, or bring things to fruition. Like that takes leadership to do that.
So it sounds like to me, and just correct me if I'm wrong, what you do is really begin to ask a lot of questions. And as you ask, let's say 5 questions, right? And we could get into that a little in a couple of minutes if you like. But when you ask these questions of these folks and begin to discover who they are at their core, it's at that point you're able to disrupt their pattern, I suspect, and be able to kind of share with them other strategies that can help fulfill the dreams and the desires that they have.
1,000%, that is correct.
Do you have these meetings weekly? Do you have these meetings monthly? Like, what does that structure look like with the leadership?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we started, watch this. So we started off monthly, and we're like, how can we get better? Okay, let's do this weekly. And then we're like, how can we innovate and get better? Now we're doing them daily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Daily. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so now, again, part of the formula, modeling and mirroring. And one of the things that we do here at Unblinded is a daily huddle. To just exercise our growth, exercise our mindset, grow our mindset and everything in the formula. And so I said, you know what? I need to do this at a much faster pace, much rapid. And what I did is I started doing daily huddles with my team. Every morning, 8:30 in the morning, I go in there for 30 minutes and I give part of the formula and we rehearse, we role play. And it's beautiful because just a few weeks ago, we were at 60% efficiency. What that means is 60% of our patients were showing up. 40% of our patients were not showing up for one reason or another. Part of the formula, implementing with the patients, same technique. Our business has gone from 40% inefficiency to only 10%. So we're at 90% efficiency right now.
And the math behind that must be extraordinary.
Yeah,
that's
when
incredible.
you multiply that times thousands of visits a day.
Oh my God. And you have the tools to measure and monitor that, right?
That's it.
So what I'm hearing, success doesn't show up at the front door, right?
No.
It's not going to just, you can't read a book and become successful. You have to learn to get this into your nervous system with a map and a formula that we know through Unblinded. Major shout out to Unblinded. Major shout out to my brother, Sean Callagher. I love you, brother. And the Callagher Results formula back in the day. And what Andy's sharing with me right now is something we've done here. What I can say, in all honesty, we do not have leadership meetings every day, though. So, wow, the Epic team is going to be frustrated after this. I can tell you that right now. Because as we have daily meetings and you begin to close leakage, like what Andy's talking about, can you imagine if you went from 40% inefficient to 10% on thousands of patients coming a couple of different times a month, maybe even a week? And at the end of the day, the math behind that's incredible. Wow. So Andy, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate that. And let me ask you, where are you originally from? How did this whole start? I mean, you came to Unblinded. You've already had a high-level success. They moved you over a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, made a couple of adjustments, and the acceleration happened. But there was stuff that was there already. So where are you originally from?
So I started off in 2003 with one physical therapy center.
Before that, when you were in grammar school.
Okay, so I born in Colombia,
Yep.
Medellin, Colombia, and was brought to the U.S. at the age of 2.
Okay.
And since the age of 2, I just lived in Miami boy, typical,
So your whole life, you've been in Miami?
Whole life in Miami.
Yep. And growing up in Miami, and how old are you?
Right now?
Yeah.
42.
So this was in the 90s and 80s.
That's right.
Right? And that was a time of excess. Right?
That's right.
And I watch all the documentaries, and there was a lot of wildness going on, like other cities, but it seemed to be on a different level in Miami.
That's right.
So you're growing up there. What was that like in high school?
So at very early age, I mean, I was an 80s boy. So at 85, 86, I was already 7 years old. I already knew what drugs were, and I knew what kilos were, and I just growing up in that Miami vibe, everybody talking about it. And so I was present to what was good, what was not good at the early age. And I think that made me mature a lot.
Yeah. And when you went to high school, instead of being a drug dealer, right?
That's right.
You decided to be a guy that threw some of the greatest high school parties in history. Is that correct?
That is 1,000 correct.
And the innovation and entrepreneurial nature of that took place. And if you want to tell the folks the story, I think that would be great for everyone to know how an entrepreneur at a young age actually thinks.
Yeah, so shout out to my team from the Bomb Productions who might be watching this. But at the age of 14, I think I went to a house party. And this is how my mind works. I went, and it still works like this. So I went to a house party and I said, wow, that was pretty cool. And I paid $5 the entrance. Yeah. And it was suboptimal, but it was pretty cool. And I said, I can do the same thing, but I can do it better. And I was very poor, grew up in very low income neighborhood.
Did you have siblings?
I do have one
Okay.
sibling. That's
All
right. And then two step siblings.
Got it.
And I grew up very poor neighborhood. And I said to my friends, I'm going to do a party. And they're like, what? And I said, I don't even have a backyard, but I know somebody who does. So I went to one of my friends' moms and I said, hey.
And how old were you? 14?
This is 14,
Wow.
14, 9th, 10th grade.
Can I stop? At 14, he went to somebody's mother. Go ahead.
And I said, do you mind? You have a huge backyard. You know, I usually don't hang around people that have these backyards, but you have a beautiful backyard. There's nothing that can get broken in the back. Do you mind if we do a party here? And I promise I'll give you $500. This is at 14. I'll give you $500, and I'll make sure that every single piece of paper is picked up by the end of the night. And she says, sure, no problem.
Was this one of your friends' moms?
One of my friends' moms.
Okay. All right. Now, did you approach him first? And was he like,
Yes.
you got to talk to my mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Talked to my mom. You convinced her. I was very polite, very cordial. I was, the pretty boy of the group, so everybody trusted me. And she said, yeah.
Like every negotiation, folks, you have time information. He got the information from his friend. Time information equals the proper negotiation in your favor.
Yeah, and then, get them to like you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Gonzalez, can I throw back a little party in your backyard? It's going to be about 100 people, and we'll make sure everything's cleaned up. And she says, absolutely. And by the way, I'll give you $500. That was my pitch, right? That was my agreement. And she said, yeah, $500 for one night? Hell yeah, Andy. So I did everything perfect, cleaned up the backyard.
What was the door? How much did you?
$5.
And how many people showed up?
Like about 100.
Okay.
The first party.
Got it.
And it was a success. I had like $500 in my pocket that night. I was like, holy crap. No, 5 times 100. Yeah, I had $500.
Yep.
I gave it all to the mom. We cleaned up everything, and then we did it again.
But what did you charge second time?
$5.
But you doubled the
No, yeah. Now parties started getting bigger.
Got it.
200, 300, 500 people.
Wow.
I was making $3,000-$4,000 at the age of 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
So you kept throwing parties. Like that
Well-
was you became popular amongst this group about the party. Andy's throwing another party.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we went from the Bomb Productions to No Limit Productions. And it was literally a production team. It was like people with T-shirts and securities with earphones and getting in the corners. And then they were like, we knew when the cops were coming, so close the cash register. Like, because these parties were not typically legal. You can't throw a backyard party and charge $500.
Understood.
And they started getting bigger. I started going to different high schools and inviting the captains of the teams and telling them they can come in.
So hold on. So
Yep.
that's good. So thank you for that. So you started throwing these beta test parties. It proved to be successful. Your reputation began to grow. And now you were saying, okay, I need other ecosystems.
That's right.
Right?
I need to get bigger.
I need to have other people come that haven't come so far.
That's right.
So you went to the captains of the football teams.
So I went to like different high schools around the neighborhood. And I said, listen, whoever you come with, you're invited. Just bring whoever you want with. All I need you to do is pass out these flyers and throw them all over the halls and the bathroom stalls. Like put them in the windows. Just throw them all over your high school and just make sure whoever you come with is going to get in for free.
Yes. Unbelievable. So then it grew. Did you do this all throughout high school?
All throughout high school. That's how I made my living throughout high school.
And then did you go to college after that?
And I went to college and I did the same thing.
Same thing.
Same
Tell
thing.
us about the college parties.
Yeah, so I ended up getting a scholarship to go to Northern Illinois.
That's awesome.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. On a wrestling scholarship. And I didn't
So
know.
this whole time you were wrestling in high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wrestling in high school, got a scholarship to go to college. A very amazing coach in school, and I didn't know anybody in college. So I said, how can I get to know more people? I did the same exact thing. Now we have language for it. Instead of throwing parties, we call it ecosystem mergers.
Yep.
Because I became very popular in high school. And then the same exact thing happened in college. I became very popular in college very fast. And I did it through hosting events. Well, now we call events, but back then it was parties. So I would invite, again, flyers everywhere, throw them all over the halls, throw them all over the couches in college. People showed up, 200, 300, 400 people, but this time I didn't charge. In college, I wasn't going to charge $5, so I just bought 5 kegs on me, spent like $200, put them outside, free beer for everybody. And that was the value exchange.
Yep.
I had some music, I had
Reciprocity.
the reciprocity, and people came, and it got me a lot of attention real fast in college. And I became all of a sudden very popular in college. And now I do the same exact thing. I don't call it parties, but I call it events, where I host doctors, attorneys to show up to an event.
That's what you're doing now.
That's what I do it every month. And
So
I
hold
do
on.
big ones, yeah.
So you graduate college. You're done with college. And what business? What's the name of your business?
So I own a company called Physical Therapy Now.
And how long have you had that company?
That company has existed since 2015, but I've been doing this since 2003.
So how did you get into it in 2000? How did you get into this business? Like, who was your mentor, or how did it happen?
Yeah. I had a few consultants. I didn't really have a mentor, but a few consultants. And I graduated as an occupational therapist.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went to school, FIU University, and very good school. Graduated as an occupational therapist. But I realized that I can only help very limited people if I wanted to do that. So my question was like, how can I help more people? How can I help 1 million people? How can I help 1,000 people?
So you started asking yourself that question.
Yeah, I didn't like just helping 8 people a day. It wasn't, I was making good money, but it was like, I'm not helping enough people. How can I grow? How can I help make the brand grow?
That's tremendous.
And I started, so what happened is I started building and selling physical therapy centers.
Okay.
Let me take a step back. Within 2 or 3 years, I had 3 physical therapy centers with 2 partners.
Wow.
And I learned how to open and scale physical therapy centers very fast.
Were your partners keeping pace? Were they holding you back?
They were holding me back completely.
That happens. I've seen it so many times.
They were holding me back.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, we just shook hands. We all walked our separate ways.
Yep.
I don't know what they're up to nowadays.
Yep.
But I continued with the business.
Yep.
And I continued to do it the way that I wanted, the scale that I wanted, the speed that I wanted, and by myself.
Yeah.
Which nobody could hold me back. And what I did was I learned how to build a physical therapy center that was valuable. And then I started helping other people as a consultant.
You were charging?
That's right. I was charging only $15,000, $20,000.
Got it.
Hey, listen, I'll consult you on opening a physical therapy
But
center.
you gave them the formula.
And I gave them the formula on how to operate.
Yeah.
What would happen is that they would go out of business later on, and then I would buy it back and then resell it.
Did you know that was always so? Whenever, let me ask you this: whenever somebody wrote you a check for $20,000, you knew statistically there was a chance you'd be buying that business. Okay.
I knew who was going to fail, and I knew who was not going to fail.
But not because of you, because you saw the ingredients of what they weren't doing.
That's right. And I would teach them how to operate it for 2 or 3 months, and then I'll say, okay, my job here is done. Like, don't call me again unless you're going to buy another one. And people did buy another second and third location or physical therapy center. Well, what happened is that in 2010, they put a moratorium in Florida.
Okay.
And that means that no more physical therapy centers can be opened. And so I bunkered down, and the 3 centers that I had, I scaled it to 5.
Hold on one second.
Yep.
So I just want to interject here. Very powerful. And in every business, if you're not innovating, the business is going to get past you. And things are sometimes not in our control. And what Andy just mentioned, as in the state of Florida, they shut down a portion of what he was excellent at. So what he decided to do was ask a different question, right?
That's right.
And took his 3 companies, but doubled and tripled down in the 3 surgical centers, right? Is that what it was? Doubled and tripled down, and as a result of it, we are where we are.
Yeah, exactly. So by 2015, I had 5 centers.
Yep.
Beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful home, money that I never thought I would have because I was very poor. And I was sad, and I was like, how can I continue to help more people? And that's when I remember bunkering down for 2 to 3 months, thinking like, how can I help more people? And I realized that franchising, now that I know the E-Myth, I modeled the E-Myth without even knowing that I was modeling the E-Myth book.
Understood.
And so that's why the E-Myth book is an amazing book. But
You want to share with these folks real fast?
Yeah, so E-Myth, Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited is a book that I followed without really following it. But after I read it, it's like, wow, this is exactly what I did. And so the E-Myth talks about how to be an owner, a business owner, not a technician in your business, because you can't grow. That's why physicians, physical therapists, that's why everybody stays stagnant and they don't grow, because they're focusing on doing the trade that they love or they went to school for, and they think that that's the only way they're going to make it. And that's not the only way to make it. You have to hire other professionals and just supervise them and grow the business.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. By 2015, I had a beautiful business, but I just had 5 locations. And so what I did is I started studying about franchising. It took me a year to figure it out, because healthcare and franchising is not the common. So
Innovation from outside the industry. Love it.
that's right. So how do you innovate franchise laws, healthcare laws with physical therapy? Because I knew how to open these things up. I didn't know anything about franchising. but I knew that I knew how to open those up.
Yeah.
And so I mixed that with franchise, got a couple good attorneys and consultants, and we put all this together. It took us a year. By 2016, March 2016, I launched my first franchise. And from that moment, it's history. We started selling franchises, successful. People are making millions of dollars. And
Are you allowed to talk on here how much a franchise cost? Or is that private?
So yes, depending on
Okay.
different states, right? There's different regulations, but not all states I can offer franchising. So this is by no means a public offering for a franchise.
Got it.
But a franchise can cost anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 to build.
Wow, and
That
how
depends
many-
on the city, the municipality.
Wow. And how many franchises have you done in the last 12 months? I know you told me at the top.
So from 25 in 2020 to 45 now.
25 to 45 during
right.
COVID.
That's right. That's right.
Mic drop. Bang. Andy Zapata's in the house. So Andy, let me ask you a question. What does it look like for you for the next 5 years?
So I'm just focused on continuing to scale the franchise model, the corporate model, which is the locations that I own. I want to help more people. I want to get to at least 1 million people that I've helped.
Yeah.
From pain, joint disorders, just all types of back issues and neck issues, car accidents, workers' comp accidents. We treat it all.
Yeah.
And I just want to help at least 1 million people in my lifetime. That I say that there's 1 million people that went through my system, my operation, so that I can just make sure that I help as many people as possible.
And these folks that you help, is part of it education on what not to do that maybe other doctors are telling them to do? Is it a process of holistic? Like what is the formula?
Yeah.
And separates you from people that are in your business?
All of the above, but more than anything is the experience.
Got it.
Because when you come to physical therapy, usually they're like, oh, move your neck, move your back, move your knee, move this, do this
Yeah.
exercise. With us, it's an experience. It's a whole experience about, like that episode, I think it was Cheers, when you come into the bar, everybody knows your name,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. So when you come into physical therapy,
It's
we
like a
know who
home.
you are. We know what your dog's name is. We know who your husband is. We know what you're about. We know what your goals are. We know what your dreams are. And it's not just fix your knee. It's like, hey, let's fix your knee to get to your dreams, to get to your goals in life.
So these are a bunch of questions that you ask people when they originally come in the door. Awesome.
So the formula, just to intercept, the formula goes from a business model to as low as a patient interaction model.
Yeah.
Like we use the formula on everything. It's a recipe that we use everywhere and on everything.
Awesome. And when Andy's speaking about the formula, he's talking about integrity-based human influence, process, self, and influence mastery. Right. Specifically, I would say to the 5 questions of where have you been, where you're now, where you're going, what are your successes, what are your challenges. Then you bring in the heroic, unique identity.
That's right.
Which eventually leads down to the formation agreement. Formation agreement with suboptimal people called close. We like to position ourselves as optimal, energetic folks that are looking to take businesses, multiple businesses, to places that are known around the world and helping millions of people at a time, whether it's in health, whether it's in finance. And Andy and I are brothers in that space of understanding how to communicate with integrity with people that allows them to be heard, not me being heard. And brother, I want to thank you so much. What an
Rob, thank
awesome
you.
time I just had.
Yeah.
You are dynamite. You are zone action. You are everything, and then some. And I'm really looking forward to Miami in November. It's going to be exciting. And I just want to thank you so much.
Yep.
Anything
November
you want?
Yeah, November 19th, 20th, and 21st, we're going to be doing an amazing gala benefiting the American Foundation for the Blind and attaching that to some growth and personal development, how to scale your business and multiply and go from, like Rob went from 8 meetings a month to over 700, 800 meetings a month. We're going to teach that formula, and it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to contribute to many people's lives. And just like I'm trying to help people in physical therapy, I love to contribute and help people grow their business. So that drives me, man.
And thank you for that. And Andy, also, if there's any doctors, right, if they
Yeah.
want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
Yeah, any doctors, just you have my email, azapata@physicaltherapynow, or just physicaltherapynow.com, or just call me, 305-244-5883. Send me a text. I'll call you back. And any doctors that want to learn how to scale their business, want to go to the gala, want to get an executive to go to one of these events and we'll be more than happy to teach them how to grow and develop the business. That's just something we talk about every single day.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Look forward to co-creating.
Thank you, my brother. Likewise.